At 6:30 local time, in the still waters of the Sea of Azov, a Russian Buyan M-class corvette idled at combat readiness. On board sat 8 Kalibr cruise missiles, each capable of striking Ukrainian cities hundreds of kilometers away. The ship's radar arrays pulsed against the dawn sky, scanning for threats. To its crew, this felt like routine business. But far beyond the horizon, in an unmarked bunker 300 kilometers away, Ukrainian drone operators locked eyes on their screens. On those flickering monitors, a different battle was about to unfold. 7 drones, assembled with parts bought online, raced toward the warship. In minutes, a clash worth $500 million would begin. The lead Rybaka drone accelerated to 400 kilometers per hour. Russian checkpoint gunners noticed the sound first, a faint buzzing against the morning haze. Then their thermal sensors caught movement. Without hesitation, 23mm autocannons opened fire. Tracers split the air, each shell more than capable of ripping the fragile drone apart. But visibility was low. The gunner couldn't track the small silhouette. Instead, he aimed by sound, walking bursts across the horizon toward the whine of propellers. The Rybaka pilot reacted instantly. A hard left jink sent the drone weaving between explosions. At 432 kilometers per hour, it screamed past the checkpoint. The shells missed, but the consequences did not. The entire defensive grid was awake now. Within seconds, messages spread across Russian networks. Telegram channels pinged with warnings faster than encrypted military radios could. The ambush was no longer secret. Surprise was gone, but not the mission. Suddenly, static flooded the operator's screen. The drone had flown into high-voltage transmission lines. Invisible until the last second, the wires crackled with 110,000 volts. The Rybaka barely cleared them, missing by 2 meters. For 3 agonizing seconds, the operator was blind. The compass spun wildly. Video feed dropped to gray static. He gripped his controls in silence, praying his drone hadn't slammed into the wires. Then the feed snapped back. Ahead loomed a radio tower. He banked hard left, missing its guy wires by inches. Behind the lead Rybaka came 2 spear drones, staggered 30 seconds apart. Their role: blind the warship's radars before the heavier drones closed in. 4 Bober drones followed from the north. Slower, cruising at 200 kilometers per hour, but each carried a heavier shaped charge warhead designed to pierce steel. These would be the hammer, but only if the spears and Rybakas cleared the path. The Russian defenses, however, weren't idle. A repellent one-jammer activated ahead, spewing 400 watts of electromagnetic noise. The lead Rybaka's video feed went black. But Ukrainian planners had anticipated this. The drone switched to autonomous mode, navigating by accelerometers and optical recognition. It skimmed low over trees and roads, dodging obstacles unseen by its operator. 3 minutes later, the feed returned. The Rybaka was still on course. Ahead, a BTR-82 armored vehicle guarded a roadblock. Its 14.5mm machine gun opened fire in preset patterns, anticipating drone approaches. The operator dropped altitude, diving between warehouses. Concrete broke line of sight, but the echo of buzzing motors gave them away. Russian infantry poured from buildings, rifles raised. The Rybaka skimmed at 10 meters altitude, using radar shadows caused by Earth's curvature to stay invisible to higher sensors. Physics was their shield, but not perfect. A squad's concentrated fire struck home. The third Rybaka spiraled into asphalt, detonating its payload in a fireball. 1 drone lost, 6 remained. Then came a new threat. Cresting a ridge, the surviving Rybaka's operator froze. It wasn't supposed to be here. A Panzer S-1 system sat directly ahead, already launching 6 interceptors. These weren't standard SAMs. They were anti-drone missiles, each carrying 200 tungsten spheres packed into a fragmentation warhead. When triggered, they burst into a donut-shaped cloud traveling at 1,800 meters per second, lethal to anything within 10 meters. The Pantsir crew launched at staggered altitudes, 50 meters, 30 meters, 10 meters, a perfect three-dimensional kill box. But the Ukrainian operator knew something. Each missile had a 1.2-second arming delay, a safety measure to prevent premature detonation near the launcher. At his speed, the Rybaka covered 144 meters in that time. The moment the launch flares appeared, he shoved the stick forward. The drone dove directly at the Pantsir. The interceptors roared overhead, still unarmed. By the time their fuses went live, the Rybaka was already beneath them. Flying just 5 meters above the ground, the Rybaka lined up on the Podlet K-1 radar, the backbone of Russian air defense in the sector. The Pantsir's 30mm cannons erupted at 10,000 rounds per minute, but targeting lag doomed them. Fire control took 3.5 seconds to generate solutions. The drone changed direction every 2 seconds, ensuring the guns always aimed behind. The Rybaka hit the radar mast dead center. Its shaped charge detonated. The Monroe effect crushed a copper cone into a hypersonic jet, punching through antenna, processors, operator cabins, and out the far wall. A spray of molten copper finished the job. The Podlet was gone. 30 seconds later, another Rybaka struck the P-18 spoon rest radar. Russian gunners switched to thermal imaging, but dawn betrayed them. A temperature inversion shimmered across the horizon, confusing their sensors. The drone's tiny electric motors emitted almost no heat compared to jet engines. Against the warm sea surface, the drone appeared as a cold spot. Then it vanished entirely when it crossed cooler land patches. The Pantsir fired blind, spraying the sky in spiral bursts. Thousands of rounds fell uselessly. The Rybaka slammed into the radar, erasing another 200 kilometers of coverage. Now the corvette offshore was alone. Without early warning radars, the ship's own systems could see only 40 kilometers, barely 2 minutes of reaction time. Worse, the drones flew at 3 meters altitude, blending into the sea clutter. The radar's clutter rejection algorithms discarded them as false echoes. Every third sweep, the drones disappeared entirely from screens. The ship responded with its AK-630 duet system, twin 30mm cannons spinning up with a metallic whine. Each spat 10,000 rounds per minute. But the duet was designed for large, predictable missiles, not 150-kilogram drones darting unpredictably. Every firing solution lagged. Every burst missed. The corvette tried decoys next. PK-10 launchers fired clouds of metallic chaff, aluminum strips cut to radar wavelengths. Against radar-guided missiles, it would have worked. Against drones guided by human eyes on live video, it was useless. The operator simply ignored the sparkles in the morning sun. Electronic warfare followed. The TK-25 jamming suite blasted 200 watts across the spectrum from 20 MHz to 40 GHz. Against normal drones, it would sever the link, but Ukraine's fleet hopped frequencies 128 times per second, in pseudo-random patterns only operators knew. The feed dropped in resolution from 1080p to 480p. Grainy, but still good enough. By now, the corvette captain ordered evasive turns, but physics is unforgiving. A 949-ton vessel took 15 seconds to alter course by 30 degrees. A drone could pivot 90 degrees in half a second. The chase was one-sided. At 500 meters, a Bober drone switched to manual control. Cannons couldn't depress low enough to hit. Sailors with rifles fired wildly, but human eyes needed 2 seconds to track and aim. By then, the drone had already closed the gap. The Bober slammed into the radar mast. Instantly, the corvette lost all sensors, communications, and targeting systems. Blind, deaf, unable to fire its calibers. The second Bober lined up on the missile magazine. The operator adjusted for drift, speed, and angle. The warhead needed a perfect 90-degree hit for maximum penetration. Too shallow and it would ricochet. Too steep and energy would waste. At 100 meters, he made his last correction. His hands shook. Sea spray streaked the lens. But he had practiced this moment 500 times in simulation. The bobber hit dead on. Its shaped charge formed a molten jet at 7,000 meters per second, punching through 15 millimeters of steel. Inside, it sprayed across hydraulic pumps, missile coolant lines, and electrical systems. Hydraulic fluid ignited in arc fires. Toxic coolant burst into vapor. Warhead safety systems failed. 8 Kalibr missiles sat armed but unfired, silenced before they could launch. By noon, smoke poured from the corvette's superstructure. By midnight, 12 hours after the ambush began, the ship limped into port, blackened, buckled, scarred. Repair would take 18 months if sanctions even allowed spare parts. The ship's mission was over. Its 8 missiles never fired. From their bunkers, Ukrainian operators watched their screens fade to black. Not from jamming, but from success. $500 million of steel had been crippled by drones costing less than family cars. The Buy-N-M corvette didn't sink that day, but it didn't need to. Its radars were shattered, its missile magazine crippled, and its pride erased. A $500 million warship was reduced to a limp wreck. This is the future of naval warfare. Cheap swarms versus billion-dollar targets. A battle where ingenuity, timing, and precision matter more than raw firepower. And this strike is only one chapter. Ukraine has already set its sights on the rest of the Black Sea Fleet. What happens when submarines or aircraft carriers face the same swarms? That answer is coming sooner than anyone expects. If you found this breakdown gripping, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story of modern warfare rewritten in real time. Drop a comment. Do you think drones will replace missiles as the main weapon of the future? Until next time, stay tuned for the next clash that will shape tomorrow's battlefield.